everybody, it's CheckTheEffects coming at you with another Minecraft tutorial, and today we're continuing on with the Smart Rail series. However, we're going to be talking particularly about a feature that can be used not just in the Smart Rail system, but also in other builds which require some level of security in terms of access to a particular area. I'm talking about locked doors that you can use a key to open. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So for this tutorial, you're going to be needing the following items. You're going to be needing an iron door, some droppers, about 3 or 4 of them, some hoppers, some redstone repeaters, redstone comparators, redstone torches, redstone dust, a building block. In this case, I'm using oak wood planks. This must be one that can conduct redstone current. You're also going to need a button, an anvil, and a couple of ender chests. You're also going to need a filler block of some sorts. I'm using grass that I've renamed using the anvil to filler, as well as an item that you want to use as your key. In this case, I'm using an emerald, which I've renamed using the anvil to my key at X, X 37266909 dash equal sign. So basically, some obscure thing that only I know about that I can use for my key. So that way, when someone looks at this right off the bat, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to memorize if you got this long string of text after you put my key in there. So you put my key there just to identify it as this is your key, and then you put a long string of text. Now, if you want to, you can rename this thing to anything you want that you will remember that this is your item that you use as a key to get in and out through this particular secured door. It doesn't have to say my key. I just have it put as my key just to easily identify it in this particular tutorial. Same thing with your filler blocks. You can put it as filler block, or whatever the case is, but make sure also at the end of that, after you put filler or after you put filler block, that you have some obscure thing, just so that if someone does put something in there that says filler or filler block, they don't end up messing up your key mechanism. Now, the way this thing works is very simple. You just come up to the system here, and you'll see there's one dropper here that says key return, and another dropper here that says lock. And you're just going to take your key. Now, if you just walk up to your ender chest here, you'll see that there is a key here. I have something called my key. I can take my key out of my ender chest, put it into my lock, not the key return. So put it into the lock, open this up, I walk, make sure I get my key, and then walk through, and there you go. Comes right through. And there are 2 basic designs to this. The other design is over here, and if you look over here, I can take my key. If I go from my ender chest preferably, go to my key over here, and I'm going to put my key in this, wait for my key to come back to me, pick it up, and whoops, now see that one went right away. So if I go ahead and put my key in again, walk through, and I made it through. So you can see this one's a little bit timed, while the other one over here, if I go in this time, put my key in here, I can wait for my key to come back. I can sit here for as long as I like, and the door is not going to close, right? And then I can walk through whenever I like, and then it closes. See? And I put my key back on the other side. Then if I want to come back through, you don't need a key on this side, just walk right through. As a matter of fact, over here, I should probably make sure that there are some blocks over here to cover this up. So make sure that you got your blocks like that, so that you don't have access to that lock mechanism from there. So let's first start with this mechanism. So as we mentioned before, if you put your key in here, this is going to stay open until you go through. Now, the upside to this is that you don't need to worry about how long it's going to take you to get through this. Once you get your key, you can just walk right through whenever you want to. The downside to this is that if someone puts their key into the lock and then goes AFK or doesn't go through right away, they can be sitting here for some time with the door open, and anybody else, even people who don't have a key, can walk right through into your restricted access area. And then the only way that the other person would know is because the door is closed behind the person who went through, and then of course that person can come in and out as they please. But the thing is, you know that someone else had gone through because the door is closed, and then you can have to put your key in again in order to get through. But that's a bit low security in terms of that particular feature. With this particular one, because it's with a timer of some sort, then what happens is you have the key going into here, and then they have to go through right away. Now if the person goes AFK, right, if I put my key in here and I go AFK, key comes right back to me, and then boom, it closes up. Then you don't have to worry about anyone else coming through, even if you're AFK. The only downside to this is that you have to hurry in order to get through. So let's take a look at the bottom of this one. So first what we got for this one here, this is the one where we put our key in and the door will stay open until we go through. For this one, the main thing that's keeping it open is a latch. If you can see here, right in there, for those of you who are experts in redstone, intermediate level or expert, you can probably tell here that there is a latch mechanism. You have a block with a redstone torch which goes into a repeater, which then goes into a block with a redstone torch which goes into a repeater, which goes back into that block. Basically going in a loop. That would essentially make sure that this thing turns on that side when you push this button, and it turns off on this and has this one turn on when you push the other button over there, or essentially put current into either one of those two blocks. On this side you can see that we have an item filter, and this is how we ended up accepting the key. The dropper over here points down into this hopper, which is acting as your item filter for this particular item sorter, and then what happens is it goes down into here and gets fed into this dropper item elevator, and then gets sent back up to here into the key return. If I go ahead and stick any item whatsoever into here, it doesn't matter what it is, it'll only work for my particular key, like this one over here. Another point to make is that this door is pre-powered. So if you look here, there is a redstone torch right under this door. What this allows me to do is, let's say I happen to be someone who thinks that he's really smart and decides that, oh, I can get through this, I don't need a key. Tries to put a lever on there, and guess what? It doesn't open. If the door was not pre-powered and I did something like this, then what happens is all you do is put a lever there and you can open the door. So that's why we pre-power the thing. So pre-powering essentially means you have a block like this, redstone torch like this, or a redstone torch like this, either way. But the idea is that the block above it is receiving power such that the door, if you put it like this, ends up going in another direction. But if you just position yourself just right like that, there we go. Now the door is in a closed position relative to this side here. So if I go ahead and now and put my lever on, it won't work over here, right, or there, or anywhere on here. Even if I put my lever or button over here, it still won't work. I can put pressure plate here and it won't work. The only way that you can get this to work is to apply power right into this block over here. That's the only point where you can have power go in and it will be opened over here. So let's go into building this thing. So let's start with the first part over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get, first of all, our door on here. So it must be about around here, put our door. And right next to that, we want to put in a hole over here and another hole over here. Now we're going to get out our anvil over here. And move our dropper out of the way. And we're going to take two droppers. One dropper, let's take one here. So 1, 2, and I'm going to get rid of these excess ones that I don't need. So we have one dropper here. We're going to take that and we're going to rename that to lock. Okay, so that one's called lock. Okay, then we have another dropper. We're going to rename that one to key return. So we have one called lock and one called key return. Now also, while you're at it, you might want to rename your key and also your filler blocks while you're at that as well. And I'm going to close this off, so I'm not going to need my anvil anymore, so I can put this back. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from underneath, okay, and take my lock dropper, and I'm going to point that downward. Then I'm going to take a block like this and another one like this, and we're going to build an item sorter or item filter like so. That's your little configuration for that. Comparator, redstone dust, repeater. It's a very standard thing here. and then redstone torch. Over here, you're going to take your hopper, point that into the back of this comparator like that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put another block out like this, so that you have a hole coming out like that. Then all we need to do is take a couple of blocks like so and put one down like this, break this up here. You're going to take your regular droppers. Okay, so regular droppers, ones that have not been renamed, and then bring those all the way up here. Then take your one that's called key return and put that there. So now when the user right clicks on this, they see, oh, this is the lock and this is the key return. So it doesn't matter if I put my key here, nothing's going to happen in the key return because this is where the key gets returned. And this is where the key goes in order to unlock the door. So a little bit of ease of use in terms of the user interface. Next, you're going to go ahead and put a hopper pointing into this dropper like so. Then, of course, we're going to take a block like this, and we're going to make our clock. So first of all, we have to make something here that's going to make this go up. So next what we have is a, see, I think about a 6x4 platform like this that is just at this point over here below this dropper. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm going to do is take my comparator out here, redstone dust like this, repeater here, 2 redstone dust, 2 comparators, one facing this way and the other one facing the other way, another redstone dust like this, rather redstone dust this way, comparator, repeater, repeater this way, and then we're going to put redstone dust like so. Now what we're going to do is take a block like this, redstone dust here, redstone torch over here, then another block over here, break this open, and this one too, because you're going to need to do that there temporarily. Put a block, sorry, redstone torch over there, then a block here, whoops, block on top of that one, not over there, and then another redstone torch over here. Once that's set, you can go ahead and put this in like this. Now what we're going to do is take our items that we use for our for setting our lock. We're going to take about 20 of these filler blocks like this, 20 of them like this. Point to this slot here, hold down your left mouse button and then drag across to give 5 in each all the way to the end here. Then you're going to take your key. You have about, I don't know, maybe a full stack of it. Put 1, 2, and 3 keys into this. That's going to have one of the keys end up going through this and into here, right? But it's not going to go into here. Next, we're going to take our door. So we're going to go ahead and put this hole in here to mark where we're going to put the pre-powering for it, and put a redstone torch like that. Then take your block, put this back over here. And now if I put a door like this, of course it's going to be like this. So we gotta go over to the side and put it sideways like this, and so that it ends up turning out like this. While we're here, we might as well just put our ender chest. So we'll go ahead and put one ender chest over here. And if we want, we can also put one on the other side over around here, right? Because we had to make sure that it goes through a tunnel. Speaking of the tunnel, let's go ahead and put that in like this. And then we can get, oh, another thing I forgot to mention is we're going to need a stone or wooden pressure plate. Well, it depends on which one you want to have. If you want the pressure plate to stick out over a wooden floor like this, then you can use a stone one. But otherwise, if you want to make it a little bit more aesthetic pleasing in the sense that you don't really notice it very much, you can also use a wooden pressure plate, and now it's not as noticeable. People will just walk over it. Now we don't have the mechanism for that. That's why it's not opening the door. Back underneath the door, we're going to go ahead and put a block over here, and then we're going to take another one and put that like this. We're going to put a redstone torch over here. That, you can see, will open up your door. And then we can go ahead and put a little platform like this, like a zigzag platform. Take this out, because you're not going to need it. Put the block here and take that out over here. And then we're going to put another redstone torch like that. Repeater on here first to close the door, and then another repeater on here. So now you can see if we go up top, the door is closed. This is our latch mechanism. And for this, we're going to need some buttons that we had before. So let's take our buttons here and put one here and another one on the side here. This is so that we can open and close it manually if need be. And now it's open, and over here, now it's closed. Now, typically what happens is if you see you have your key coming here, what happens is the current is going to come out here. The moment you have 3 items in this hopper, the current here is going to increase by 1, and then like a typical item sorter or item filter is going to have this block powered. This repeater is going to pull that power and hard power this block over here. So now to have the mechanism that's going to open this thing. So we're going to be taking power from either this block or this redstone torch. In this case, we want to use a redstone torch that's going to power this block over here. So if we put that in there, you see by default it's going to be on and it's going to keep the door open. No matter how many times I hit this button, it's going to eventually keep that door open. So it'll just close for an instant there and then open up again. That's because of this redstone torch over here. So that means we're going to take an inverted signal from here. So let's go ahead and take the signal coming out of this redstone torch, and we're going to have that feed into that block over there. So if we do this, now that torch turns off, so I can go ahead and close the door, and now it stays closed. Now we've got our little pressure plate. Now we want this to do 2 things. We want to close the door when we come out, and we want to open the door when we're going through again. So first of all, let's try just closing the door. So to close the door, it's going to have to feed into this one over here. Okay, and to open the door, it's going to have to feed into this block over here. So let's see how we're going to do this. So let's take a block like this, and then we're going to put another block above that, and we're going to have to feed a repeater into this one here, and let's see here, another one is going to go into here like this. Now what we can do is take a block like this, and what that does is we can now bring this like so right across, and now we have to find where our pressure plate is. So let's make a hole here so you can see where it is, and we have it right over there. So now we can take this around. We can actually even bring this up if we want to. So we can actually break this off and bring it on a higher level. We don't want it interacting with any other redstone, and we're going to just bring it out like that. So now we're going to take a redstone dust and bring that all the way around. So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we can actually put another repeater over in here this way, and another repeater like this so we don't have it going backwards. And then we can put a block like this, and there we go, like that. So now we have to go ahead and put our little block back in here. Now if I go like this, it opens my door. And if I do like this here, if I put my key here, oops, I'm not in the key return, but in the lock, put my key in, wait for my key to come back, I get my key, it's back in my inventory, the door's still open. When I come through, it closes. Now, of course, for aesthetics, we want to make sure we keep this closed, make sure we have a render chest here for people to access their key, and then another render chest over here, and that is it for that one. Now let's try the design where the door doesn't stay open until we go through it. It's actually on a bit of a timer type of scenario. So we're going to go ahead and break our door around here, and again, the same type of scenario. We're going to go ahead and take your droppers, and let's see, we have our lock dropper. So get our lock. Again, we'll make sure this was renamed from before. To get your lock dropper and have that facing down. Like that. Not there. Okay. Then we're going to take a block, put it like that, put a hopper and feed it into that. You can do that way if you want to, instead of putting the back of the comparator. Take that one out, put this one after this one's put in, and then put in your regular configuration for your item sorter. Okay, so comparator, redstone dust, repeater, redstone torch, and then we have to put in our blocks for our item elevator. So we're going to take a regular dropper, the one that's not renamed. So just regular droppers. Look down there, and holding the shift key down, you're going to right click until you get up to that point. Okay. Now you're going to take your key dropper, key return. So you have my key return dropper. Hold down shift, right click on there to put that down, and there you go. That's your return mechanism there, right there. Now we got to put in the clock so that this thing will actually work. So again, 4 by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and fill this up, and then we're going to go ahead and put this in like so. Repeater like this. Redstone dust, comparator, comparator, redstone dust, comparator, repeater here, repeater over here. Whoops, no, my mistake. Make sure you put another redstone dust over here. Then comparator, and then repeater here, and then put this like this, and this one like that. Then we're going to take a block like this. Oh, make sure you put a redstone dust over here too, so the whole thing connects. And then we're going to take another block over here, break this one out, and this one over here. Take a redstone torch, put that there, another one there, put a block on top of this redstone torch, and then another redstone torch right in there. Then cover this up like so. Make sure you've got this covered up on the side here as well. I think we have to have the same thing on this side too, right? So that, and then you can go ahead, and then if you go ahead and see here, yep. So if we go ahead and put, we have to put in our hopper over here as well. So the hopper has to feed it to the back of this dropper, and then we can load our items in. So let's go ahead and get 20 fillers, and then 1, 2, 3 keys. So now if I take my key and put it in my lock, it should come back to me. If you want to, you can actually reduce the amount of blocks here by taking out the unnecessary stuff that's not holding anything. Same thing with this old builder here. If you want to reduce the number of blocks, you can take this out too, because that's just there as a placeholder when we're doing our tutorial. Same with this one here. Actually, this one also can come out. Same with this one, it can also come out here like this, and this will still work. Go ahead and put that in, and you'll see that it still works. Now we're going to go ahead and put in our pre-powering here. So we'll go ahead and put this in. Now this is where it differs. On the other one, I was putting it on this side. This time I'm going to put it on this side over here, and we're going to put our redstone torch like that. Now I can take this. Oh, actually, another thing we have to do is take a block and put it out like that as well, and that will be like that. Okay. Now I can take a redstone dust, put that there, and then I can put a block like this. Then I'm going to take my iron door, okay, and I'm going to put that from an angle so that it goes like this. Remember, if you put it this way, it's going to be like that. So you got to put it just like this. There we go. So now, if I were to take a pressure plate, let's say I have my pressure plate here, and I put it right over here. If I go through, it'll open, right? It's a lot more simpler than that one than the one over there we did before with the latch. Now on this side, we're gonna have a set of comparators. So we're gonna do like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 by 2. So and then we're gonna have redstone dust coming out like this. Comparator here, comparator over here, comparator here, and comparator over here. And we have another pulse extender that's over here. That's where it is. So we have redstone dust going in a complete loop with the comparators going in a complete loop. This is your pulse extender. Okay. Now we have to take this out and feed that into this here. Okay. Now we could do it. I think we should be able to put it over into this one here. So anyway, let's go ahead and just put it directly into here. Like that. Right. Actually, we have to put it like so, like that, right? Now we just take our repeater, put that in like that, redstone dust like that, redstone dust, and then a repeater in like so on full ticks. Okay, so now if I put my key in, and I can go through. Make sure you got this like this, just to make it a little bit easier on yourself. So that, there we go. Oops, not going through very well. See, this is what I'm talking about. That one there is a little bit easier to get through because there's a bit of a delay on that. Now, if you want to, you can actually make it so that there's a delay on that by adding a repeater here with some redstone dust, but then your pressure plate is going to have to be moved back a little bit. Okay, so if you want to know what I'm talking about, that means to take a block here, repeater here, redstone dust over here, and then put this on a delay, like that's a full 4 ticks. In that case, you need to have your pressure plate over here instead, so right there, like right over here, rather than over this place. Then you put this like this, make sure this is covered up like that. So now when you go through, it's delayed and it comes open right at when you're closer to the door, right? So that could be a little improvement that you want to have it. If you're strapped for space, however, you just bring that in a little bit without the repeater, and then you can take this out and bring that pressure plate one block more closer to the door. Then of course you want to make sure that you have your ender chests on either side, so put your ender chest over here and another ender chest over on this side over here. So now when someone comes up to the door, they just have to go ahead and take their key from here, put it into the lock, wait for the key to come back, walk right through, and then there you go. If you want to come back out, just walk right through. There it is. Also, if they happen to get in this, oh, I'm going to go AFK for a while, key returns to them, door closes, they don't have to worry about anyone else coming through there. Now, you might be thinking, hey, Check, how is it that we use this with the smart rail switching mechanism? Well, in this case, we use it as it's supposed to be by restricting people from accessing areas such as the switching mechanism over there. So basically people can get out but they can't get in, and so if I put a lock here, we can have it so that only maintenance crews are allowed to go in with a particular key, and maybe we have another key that we can have it here which is just maintenance crews, or we could have it for someone else, which maybe just government access or whatever the case is, or we can make it so that we can allow anyone in and out of there as long as they're a citizen of the nation that we're in or the town that we're in. And we can make it so that only this area is accessed only by maintenance crews. As you can see, we have a maintenance room area here where we can go and start looking at the machine room. Then when we're done, we can just go over here. Now in this case, I don't have a pressure plate because of the room that's involved here. But if you go under here, you can see all you do is just take a redstone wire and it basically goes back into the same idea. It's going back into the block over here, which has this redstone torch that pre-powers your door over there, and then if you push the button on here, you can just go right through. Same idea over here, except in this case you have the power for this on the outside, so basically you'd have a redstone torch on the other side of this block, so when you push this button, it eventually goes back and opens the door so you can get through. So that's it for today's tutorial. Hope you managed to find it informative and useful and you'll be able to use it in your future builds. This is definitely something that you can use in builds that are not just the smart rail system but other builds as well where you want to have an area secured. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Just remember to keep it clean. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications button so that you can hear about when the next videos are coming. This is Check the Effects signing off. I will see you in the next video. Peace.